Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host Josiah, aka Mauler67, and with me, as always, I got my buddy, I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about everyone out there and you? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. We
It's kind of
just
weird
got off
asking
the
that.
yeah, I know, right? We spent the weekend together. You came down to hang out for the game of the month thing that we did for our vampire. It was good. Stressful to some degree, but good for most of it. And then we ended up going and watching Deadpool and Wolverine. And then you drove home, I came home, and I have a mess of Amazon boxes behind me that I need to take care of because of all the stuff I got for the gum.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm not doing anything. I'm just going to relax today. I was watching the show today, finishing it up. And then I'll probably just go to bed. I'll be honest, just relax and hit the hay, maybe get something to eat and then hit the hay for today after we're done here, because being away from like my room, right? Like I'm a very homebody individual. I'm introverted, and going like on vacation or whatever in the form of like a hotel room, good salt. That's great. I enjoy that. But I admit, like, being in my home is where I recover the most. So anytime I like take a vacation or do something, I try to plan an additional day where I have off that I can just recover at home. I don't have that tomorrow. I didn't take Monday off like I planned to because I got sidetracked by other stuff and forgot to do it. So I'm going to be working tomorrow unless I call off, like if I'm not feeling great, aka con sickness. Because I did have to interact with a lot of people really close by, and so I'm like, if any of them got sick, yeah, I wake up tomorrow sick, I'm gonna be upset. But what can you do? Austin, how was your weekend? You also got to go see our friend Seth.
Yeah, I did. I got to see him. We hung out for a little bit. I showed him. I pretty much just hung out. Haven't seen him in a while. We just had pierogies and some kielbasa sausage, and then we just hung out and just talked most of the time and watched some YouTube videos, watched a movie, and then I ended up coming over to the hotel afterwards. Yep. Because I was like, oh, it's easier if I just do a Friday, and then I could just get it over with, and then I could just chill at the hotel most of the time.
Honestly, I think that was probably the best idea, because the original concept of me and you meeting at the hotel, I didn't get to the hotel until about like 6:40, almost 7 o'clock, because I just had so much stuff I had to do. And when you were like, I'm going to go do this, at first I'm like, okay, that's fine with me. Oh, maybe that was for the best, because I wasn't prepared to leave.
Yeah.
I underestimated it.
Yeah, so, I kind of like, pretty much just was with you the whole weekend. Had a lot of fun. Got to see Deadpool and Wolverine. That was something like I was glad I got to see with you. I always like watching movies with you, especially like, movies that are hilarious, so.
Or
like
we both
those.
laugh at stuff.
Yeah.
One of us laughs at something, so the other one starts laughing at it too. Yeah. Laughing is contagious, as can be.
It is very contagious, but yeah, overall. And then on my way home, I ended up taking a different way that I haven't taken in like a long time, because I accidentally took a wrong turn and didn't realize it, and it actually saved me like 10 minutes.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because it had me on a toll road for some odd reason, and then I was like, oh, okay, and then I turned. Before I turned onto the toll road, I just kept going. I didn't realize it, and I was like, oh man, I was supposed to turn back there. And then it's like, oh, well, this cut down 10 minutes and it doesn't have a toll. So I was like, why did they ask me to take it? And it's like, oh, this is fuel efficient. And I was like, yeah, I have a Volkswagen, it don't matter. Fuel efficiency.
I always find it funny, like on the way home, I know the way to get home. Like I'm like, I take 376 the whole way and then get off on the one thing. Occasionally it will update to take me through Oakland, and I'll be like, I'm not going to go through Oakland. And every time the reason why it does that is because there's an accident or something happened on 376 that they're like, yo, trust us, don't go this way. And I'm like, no, I'm going the way I always go. And then I go, I'm like, oh no, why did I not listen? I should have listened. Because the one thing about Pittsburgh that like you can guarantee is that some idiot breaks down in the worst place possible. Always. They broke down right before the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. So like where an area that's already congested because of just like the function of the world becomes 3 times more congested because it breaks out. And my phone was like, yeah, you're 7 minutes away. Oh, you didn't take our directions? You're 21 minutes away. Like, oh, okay, I learned my lesson. I should listen and not go the easy routes, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the normal thing, man. That's the normal life that we live of it.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, speaking about the normal life and the things we live from it, Austin, this week we're talking about a remake to a series that we watched when we were little. We basically I only remember one episode. And that's because I think we had the VHS of it, or we had a copied VHS of it.
Yeah.
It's Ducktales, and this show came out in 2017. I remember the trailer being put up on YouTube, and I remember watching it with my friend Sixto, and me being super hyped for it because one, I found Huey, Dewey, and Louie absolutely hilarious whenever I watched it. And I was super into David Tennant as Scrooge McDuck. And at that point, I didn't know a lot of things that David Tennant was in. But I knew about him enough to be like, he's a good actor. So I'm pretty excited on that. Now that I'm older, we have been watching shows. I know a lot more of this cast. And I'm much more surprised at the all-star cast that this show was. Austin, what did you think of DuckTales 2017?
So I will say this. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I was glad that I watched it. It's something that I've been wanting to watch for a while now. It's just I haven't got around to it. I haven't got to a point where I want to. I wasn't really a big fan of DuckTales when I was growing up. It was more Darkwing Duck. I like Darkwing Duck over that. So, because I think it was
cameos.
Because there was cameos. But Darkwing Duck, kind of was more of my style because the time it came on in the morning compared to the time that DuckTales came on. So, like when Darkwing Duck came on, it was like about 6:30 ish, and then DuckTales would be at 7 o'clock. And if you know my parents, at 7 o'clock we were eating or we were doing a Bible study.
Or
Dad. Or Dad wanted to watch TV. So that's why I always watch DuckTales once in a while, and that would be like maybe on the weekends when they had like the Saturday morning cartoons. But they didn't really have those on Saturday morning cartoons. There was like sometimes they started running reruns on Saturday morning, but I wasn't getting up that early because I was a kid. Now, when I was a little kid, I would get up and watch those, but it like we had antenna TV when we were kids, so it wasn't like, hey, we could watch on any of this Boomerang channel or anything on ABC or Disney Channel. We didn't have that, so we had to set times. I remember us getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Dragon Ball Z sometimes, and I remember taping over.
If the clouds were right, it rained the Thursday before that happened, and Dad's temperature was above 93 degrees, we would get the right channel. Other than that, it was static. And I remember watching the old VHS tapes of us recording stuff because especially on Sunday mornings, I know that's when Digimon would come on, and we weren't allowed because Mom and Dad forced us to go to church in the morning. So our way of working around that was to turn on channel 28, which was Fox Kids growing up, put in a VHS tape of 4 hours and just hit record, turn off the TV. And then just when we got home, pop that baby in, pray that it lasted long enough to watch the shows and that the TV came in at least.
Yeah, because I used to do that all the time with Third Rock from the Sun and The Simpsons. The Simpsons always came on at 5 o'clock,
Mhm.
So I found out that you could actually change the channel later on in VCRs. You could change the channel on the VCR and it would go to that channel, but keep the TV on the same channel. So dad could change the channel and not like mess it up. So I remember when I filmed The Simpsons would come on at 5 and then Third Rock from the Sun would come on at 7. I wasn't a fan of Third Rock from the Sun, but I'd watch The Simpsons every day.
Mhm.
And then I kept doing that, and I would just like end up watching what was ever, on that VHS. So Third Rock became like one of those things I watched.
Yeah.
But I remember like as a kid growing up, this was like one of the biggest cartoons, and I remember like everyone knows the theme song. It's crazy. Like when you hear that, you just know. And that's the thing, like around this time, like Disney's cartoons started getting really popular, but I have a lot of cool history with DuckTales. I know a lot about DuckTales actually, because DuckTales, so you guys, if you guys know me, I'm a Disney adult. I'm going to admit it on here. Yeah, did you hear that? I know. See, I don't want to admit it, but I am a Disney adult now. But the number one thing is something that you'll learn right now about DuckTales is the reason that Fox 28 Kids was canceled. So Fox Kids had DuckTales on for 3 years, did not want to pay Disney's the royalties to keep that show. So what happened was DuckTales got moved to ABC 6 or ABC channel with Recess and a couple other like Goof Troop, a couple other ones. They all moved their properties, but DuckTales was the biggest hit supposedly because I watched a whole documentary on how the fall of like Fox Kids was, and that was the number one thing is when DuckTales moved, half of their viewership moved over because that was the show that everyone was watching. And I was like, that's crazy. DuckTales has something like that happen. You can look it up. It's pretty awesome. But back to this, getting a little off. I enjoyed this. This is really well done. It reminds me of the Mickey shorts, like the newer Mickey shorts to me. It doesn't feel like it's just for kids. There is adultness to it. And I feel the same with like a lot of shows lately, like Bluey, for example. I think Bluey, has like that side for like kids, but also for adults too. And I felt like DuckTales wasn't just pandering. Wow, am I saying pandering? I mean, they're not just focused on kids. They're more focused on anyone that wants to watch the show, but it's a kid-friendly show. So I feel like I don't have to be like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like that. It's just an enjoyable little thing that I like to put on the back. Like I watched like 3 or 4 episodes when I was in the hotel when we were hanging out, and then when I was driving home, I just put it on audio so I could hear it. And then when I got home, I just like did like 1.5, what was like 2.5 speed and just all the animation. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh no.
Because I kind of forgot about it like halfway through because everything that was going on this week, and I went to see Deadpool. I wanted to come out and see you.
No. This weekend was really crazy, which was why like earlier I messaged you say like, did you want to do this? Because I still need to finish up the stuff, which I've already watched the whole series. Except the 3rd season. Fun fact, there's a 3rd season. I have not got to watch that yet.
Which is the final season?
Yeah.
And the original DuckTales was only 3 seasons too, so.
What I love about this show, right, is that when I looked up about this show, like why was it canceled, it's like it wasn't canceled. It just wasn't renewed for more seasons. And the creator was fine with it because he got to tell the story he wanted to tell with the show as it is. And so I was like, okay, that's like Gravity Falls level of like content, right? Where you're just like, this show is just really well done. It's really enjoyable. And they tell what they want to tell. And that's good enough. And rewatching this, it was very enjoyable for me to rewatch. I think the thing that I enjoyed most of it was like, now that I know more of the actors, I enjoyed listening to them a little more and like paying attention to like different tells. Like I could I knew exactly who Ben Schwartz was. Spending a little bit of time, I'm like, okay, I can tell who Abed's character actor is. I can't think of his name. Like I could tell them. And then the surprising thing, like you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I noticed that too. Whenever I started watching it, that the voice of Webby or Wendy, their friend, is Katie, the voice actor of also Sadie from Steven Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't think at the time I realized that. I to be fair, whenever I was watching Steven Universe for the first time, I didn't know who that voice actor was, and like the band she was part of that I knew. So it made me kind of laugh, and I found it hilarious that was a great like casting all around. You like Jim Rash was also in it. That made me laugh. He always makes me chuckle. Can't wait. There's a gag that Jim Rash does in the second season I can't wait for, because it was the like whenever I watch shows, right, I don't tend to pause them for any reason. I just let them play. Even if I laugh, I'll like laugh and let it go through. I remember the first time I watch it, and the gag from what I'm thinking about in next season happened with Jim Rash, and I laughed so hard I had to pause and still rewind because I missed so much just laughing at that joke. And it was one of the jokes you mentioned about kids and adults and whatnot. It was one of those jokes that kids would find funny and adults would find even more funny because of the dark overtones of the joke. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was amazing. And I just forgot how much I liked kind of how this show did everything. I liked that there was a super narrative. Like, this show puts it on the same level to me as like Steven Universe or like later seasons of Adventure Time, where each episode you're watching because of like the in episode adventure, like what they're doing in that episode, but you're also watching because there's a story throughout the whole show, and you're trying to piece the next part of that, the next part. Like in the beginning, how they're all like the Spear of Saloon, like what is the spear? Like it's a spear, and then you find out like it's not a spear. And then it's like, oh crap. And then you see like really heartwarming episodes too that you're just like, okay, I wasn't prepared for feels. I should be, but I wasn't. Oh,
so there was a character in this, in one of the episodes. The episode is called Let's Get Dangerous, which is a Darkwing Duck episode.
Yep.
The girl that plays, the little duck, his like sidekick in Darkwing Duck. I forget her real character names. Whatever. She is actually, I was like listening to her talk and I was like, she sounds so familiar. How do I know this woman? Come to find out, she plays Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I was like, that's who it is. Her name's like Stephanie Beatrice. I noticed her voice and I was like, that's her. That has to be her. And then when I did, I was like, okay, I looked that up. But I didn't see like, there is, I was really happy that they got Jim Cummins to reprise his role as Darkwing Duck. I was really happy about that. When he showed up, I was like, yeah, that has to be Jim because it's legit.
I also like that it was a continual thing throughout it. Like when they're on the one episode where like the plane gets stuck on top, Launchpad has Darkwing Duck playing on the screen, you could tell. And then in the season finale, he also has the little Darkwing Duck toy where he's just like, take over me, DW.
But then what's really weird is I didn't know this, but when I started looking up like some of the cast from the show, there's a lot of cast from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in this show.
I will warn you, if you're looking at the cast, there's a lot of cast that they mention that have not shown up in first season.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't want you to spoil them. That's the biggest thing.
I did, but I don't know. It doesn't tell me like who they play though.
No, if you spoil, that's the issue, man. I wanted you to like listen to someone and be like, wait, is that blank? Because like that was the thing, right? One of the people that made me question it was the guy who plays Gyro Duck. And whenever he started talking, I'm like, he sounds familiar. Or his cadence sounds familiar. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was sitting there, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to look him up. And then it's like, freaking Lin-Manuel Miranda. I can't even say his name. The dude who did Hamilton. And I was like, gosh dang it. he coming out of nowhere. It's like, Mr. President, what is this? Like, that was enjoyable.
The guy that plays Crack Shell, the Fenton Crack Shell.
Yeah.
Because Gyro's played by Jim Rash, right?
Wait, I think I'm mixed. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the one who what's the superhero? The one who like
it's Fenton.
But what's his superhero name? Like what? I thought it was called Gyro Duck. Whenever he's in the
it's Gyro Duck. I'm getting him mixed up because Jim Rash plays Gyro, Gear Loose.
Wait.
And then they have
maybe
Gyro
I'm
Duck.
getting the names wrong myself. But I'm
getting confused.
Regardless, I just absolutely loved the fact that he plays his voice actor, and I was like, man, like back in 2016, no idea who that guy was.
Yep.
Now, I know exactly who that guy is.
Well, that's how I feel about Ben Schwartz. Ben Schwartz was that way now. Like, I really didn't know who Ben Schwartz was until we watched Middleditch and Schwartz, and I was like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen him before, and then like. He's in everything most of the time. You're like, oh, hey, look, he was just in what was it, Dropout, wasn't he? He was just in like an episode of
not yet. He's going to be in Make Some Noise season 2. No. Here's the thing, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. It hasn't come
back
out
when this aired, the only thing I knew him from was Parks and Recreation. That's the only thing I knew him from. And then I watched Middleditch and Schwartz, and I was like, oh, dang, I like this guy a lot. I like these two together. And then I found out, like, he was the voice of Dewey, and I was like, oh, heck yeah, I like that. And then he's also the voice of Sonic, and I was like, oh, dang, yeah, I like that too. And then he just kind of keeps getting more and more roles. And anytime he gets a role in something, I'm like, I'm watching that. Yeah. I'm watching it. The only thing I have yet to watch that he was in it that I was planning to watch because of it was the one Dracula movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
Oh, Renfield?
Yeah, Renfield, because he's in Renfield. He's like the antagonist in Renfield. And I'm like, I won't watch that, but I remember when it came out, I just didn't have the ability to go watch it.
I don't remember him in Renfield.
He's the main bad guy in Renfield. He's the one who tries to take Dracula's powers.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is funny that I know this and I've never seen it.
I'm getting that mixed up with the kid that is Renfield. So yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, the good guy, I guess. Yeah, no. Yeah, the only reason why I know he was Renfield is because he constantly goes on to Game Grumps as a guest grump because he's friends with Dan Avedon and Aaron, and he goes on there all the time. Like he went on for Middleditch and Schwartz. Him and Middleditch went on and played some games with them. He went on and played Aladdin, like the old Genesis game, and completed it. Then he also went on and played all of Castlevania Simon's Quest, Castlevania 1 by himself for the Renfield thing. And I just find him the most like enjoyable person to listen to because he's really good at just talking and ad-libbing stuff. And it makes me laugh all the time. And that's one of the reasons why I super want to support him. And now that knowing that this show has 5 or 6 of my favorite voice actors made me really happy. I was like, oh heck yeah, this show, I'm surprised this show got 3 seasons because they blew most all their money on those voice acting talents, because gosh dang dude, did they get an all-star cast. Oh man.
Yep.
I can't wait for the next season too. The next season I think gets even better. You get some crazy episodes.
Well, there's a lot of cool stuff that I liked about season 1. Some of the some of the episodes that I really enjoyed. There's 2 big episodes I really enjoyed this season. Of course, the Darkwing Duck episodes are great because I love Jim Cummins and I love Darkwing Duck.
Yep.
That's actually a show I was going to make you watch at one time. I was like, hey, that's something he's probably never watched. I think he would enjoy.
Yeah.
So, kind of seeing that now, I'm like, hey, maybe we might do that. But I would have to say one of my favorite episodes this season has to be I think the episode is called The Chase of the Dime. It's the episode where wow. It's hard for me to distinguish which duck is which, like Huey, Dewey, or Louie.
What color? Just tell me color.
I think it's green.
Green?
I think he was green in that episode.
That's Louie. Because how I remember is Huey is like a hue red. That doesn't make sense. However, by having understand that Huey is red, Dewey, aka Dew of Grass, is blue, and then Louie is the last one.
That is awful. That is awful.
That's how I do it. That's
no,
how I.
No.
Because I used to just call them Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then I was like, oh wait, I need to differentiate them somehow. Oh, Dew is blue. Hue, like if someone says like a hue color RGB, I think of red first. Don't judge me. I do what I gotta do.
No, you gotta do what you do. But it was one of the ducks ends up like grabbing this dime and putting it in the soda machine.
Oh yeah, this was one of the earlier episodes whenever Scrooge is showing him like his first dime ever, and he keeps spending it because that's the first episode we get introduced to Jim Rush's character too.
Yeah, that's when he was like, "Hey, it's a light bulb little thing," and he's like,
not all my experiments turn evil. They have a 98% chance to."
Oh, there's the problem. It's a 75-watt bulb instead of a 65.
He was mad with power.
The jokes in this show are really well done, but I died every single time. You know, like when a character does something and then it just frustrates you to no end because they're being ridiculous. That was the duck this season, that episode, because like instead of taking the elevator like the 2 times that he took the elevator, he just have to wait for the elevator to come back down. He walked like 57 stairs, and I'm like, why? And I was like, that's not how that works. That's not how it works, because the guy gets off the elevator.
The whole like theme of that episode was his impatience. That was the whole thing about him being in that meeting initially, was like him being like, you have to learn how to like make money. Oh, I want to dive into your goal. It's like, no, it's not something that you just get to do. You have to, like, I train for that. You have to train. You have to get used to it. Like, it was all about his impatience. Those were really good nods. Like, for like kids wouldn't understand that, but like adults, you'd be like, oh, he's impatient. That's why it's all going up in his face.
Yeah, and then the time he uses the elevator, it's when the robot has already destroyed the elevator. And I was like, oh my gosh, it drove me nuts. I really enjoyed that episode a lot, though. I thought it was great. And then you couldn't find out at the end, like, the favorite thing that made me laugh so hard was when Scrooge was like, here, you earned your dime. He's like, but, oh, Scrooge, it's like, you know, your number one dime. He's like, do you think I would keep that? Like, I keep it on me. And I was like, oh man.
I'm not an idiot. Well, I also love how the dime like comes back in the season finale as well, and you revealed some information.
Yeah, see, that was one of the main things too. I was bringing up is like how long it took, and then it pays off with the dime thing at the end. And I was like, that is so cool.
I mean, it was the same thing with what's her face. I always want to say Leon. What is Wendy's friend? I can't. The one who is the shadow of Dispelia, or whatever her name is, Gosh, I don't remember the names from Magica. You know who I'm talking about? Like the season finale, she releases Magica, and then she gets absorbed back because she's the shadow of Magica. Her character, right? Character.
Is it Della? No, Della's the other duck.
Della is the mom.
No, Della's the mom. I'm thinking of.
I'm just going to look up DuckTales. That way, I'm no longer
Luna.
like.
Is Luna the one that has like the bottle thing where she like sends bottles?
Yeah, maybe. I think that's exactly who it is. Sorry, I'm just making sure I'm getting the names of the characters correct. Webby. Gosh, I always call her Wendy. Okay. Webby. Yeah, Lena. Yeah, Lena. Yeah. I loved the introduction of the character and like the usefulness. The whole beetle episode was really funny to me, of all the different types of beetles. But I just enjoyed her character a lot. And it actually, like, when she dies, essentially, like, she gets murdered. Like, straight up, she's murdered. I was actually sad. I was like, dang, I did not want her to go. I thought she was a great character in the show, and that just kind of made me upset. But, yeah. Gizmo Duck. Okay. Sorry. I'm looking at the character names now, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was Gizmo Duck. So, I think I was calling him Gyro Duck. It's Gizmo Duck is who I was thinking of. Because I remember that character from, I don't know if it was DuckTales. I think it was Darkwing Duck. That was a character in Darkwing Duck, because they were all superheroes. But man, I really enjoyed this season and like all the different characters that were introduced in it. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really fun little small show. I know there was a couple problems with like what I was watching. I accidentally watched like 2 episodes of the same. Um
Yeah.
so because they were confusing.
I
The one
I found funny that
was
we were talking about and you're just like, I like the episodes are 45 minutes each. That's crazy. I'm like, no, only the first episode's 45 minutes each. No, I watched 2. I'm like, did you not notice that they were the same episode?
I didn't.
You
I was busy
rewatched
doing
the
other
same
stuff.
episode. It was so funny. I'm
Yeah.
like, you didn't realize that it's like, huh, these 2 plots are basically
Went
identical.
to Anarcha again. They're
'Cause-
just like, you know what? It was so much fun last time. Let's do it again.
What was funny is that I caught on instantly because like I watched the first one. I was like, yep, that's the pilot I remember from the YouTube. And I watched the other episode and I was like, wait, hold up. This is the same episode. Oh, because it's showing the pilot and then it's showing this in the way it's set up. And I'm like, now I'll skip it. I already know this. Unless there's something that changes, I'll skip it, and that's perfectly fine. And yeah, it was a very enjoyable series. I'm interested to see like what you think of season 2, because I personally think that season 2 has it how do I say it, like it has more like gravitas or more like stakes in it than season 1. But I also think they have a freaking amazing cast in season 2, so I'm going to be pretty excited for that. Yeah. Yep, that's I'll also be excited to see your different opinions on other things. Yeah. She loved the show. Yeah, Mama Burkhart loved the show, brought back memories to her. It makes sense. We used to watch that show all the time as kids. So it was interesting to have it like reset up. Man. Well, Austin, do you have anything you want to say about the show?
Not really. Like, I really enjoyed it. I'm actually, there wasn't a lot too much to talk about. Like, they're episodic most of the time, but there is like that overarching small story that they have. But I really enjoyed this. Like, it was something that I could just watch and just have fun. It wasn't anything that I had to be really focused on.
Mm-hmm.
There was some points where I had to be focused, like, especially like the whole, Luna doing the whole dark person. Like the evil thing that she like agrees to, like release. That was like one of the most arcing things that happened. So, but overall, I really enjoyed it, and I've been spoiled a little bit by like just seeing some of the people that are gonna be this season. But they didn't tell me if it's this season or next. I just know there's a couple actors that I know. I'm like, ooh, that'll be fun.
Yep.
So,
like,
yeah.
they just keep adding more and more like great actors.
I was really surprised and happy when Darkwing Duck showed up. So I was like, yep, there it is.
It was worth it just for this alone.
Yep, just yep.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think what's going to be interesting for me, right, is I remember watching the show, but even like whenever I was rewatching this, I was kind of surprised by how much I didn't quite remember it.
Mm-hmm.
And like as I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I know where this goes, I know what this leads to, so on and so forth. But then I'm also like sitting there and thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember enough that this doesn't feel new to me, and that makes me happy, because I very much enjoyed the show, and I'm happy that I get to watch more of it. In fact, I do this with like Gravity Falls a lot of times. I think this show may become one of my stapled like background shows, because I just very much enjoy the atmosphere of the show. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably do that. And once I get done with like the full watch through with everything, because like I said, I've never seen season 3. Once I get to watch all of them, rewatching that will just be nothing but entertainment to me, and I could just do it and not really care about what episode I'm on. And I think that will be really cool and fun, and I'm kind of excited for that point when it gets there, at least.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. All right, Austin. Well, I mean, it was a short episode today. I think because of the fact that like
There's only like 20-minute episodes.
well, I don't even think it's that.
Yeah.
I think this. I'll be honest. This season was more episodic based. Next season is going to be more like story, like driven. You'll realize it's like the equivalent from watching Steven Universe season 1. Like whenever we did that, it was a very short episode. But then Steven Universe season 2, it was a very longer episode because we were talking about story and possible beats and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's going to be for this show. Because I distinctly remember watching season 2 and just being like, oh my gosh, there's so much like hypotheticals. Because like this season ends with like the realization that Della Duck is alive and she's on the moon or some planet far away.
Yeah, it's like some weird thing.
Yeah, she's somewhere that she can't make it home, but she just got like connection back home. I also can't wait for the realization about the names. I cannot wait for it because that made me laugh so hard whenever I watched that too. So that will come in a later time and I'll be excited for that. All right, Austin. Well, I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate you watching this and watching a show that I really enjoy. And I'm happy that you are enjoying it. And maybe you can get your wife to watch it too because she's a Disney person too.
She watched
a crazy Disney
2 to 3 episodes with me and she liked it. So
she's like, I like Donald Duck. I'll watch anything with him.
And I think actually that is, I'm trying to think who did the voice of Donald Duck, because if it's the award-winning Donald Duck guy, I'm trying to think of his name.
I'm not sure who did his voice.
I think his name's like Tony something, because he won an award for it.
Tony Anselmo.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It was weird, but Tony Anselmo was just at like San Diego Comic-Con, and they were talking about how he won like a award-winning Emmy for Donald Duck. So I was like, that's cool.
Hey, he voiced Donald Duck in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, he's voiced Donald Duck for a long time, I've been told. Like, I'm thinking like he did like all the old Donald Duck movies from like, you know, like 2000s and stuff. He's been doing Donald Duck for a long time. I'm trying
to look for the cursed game we used to have. He voiced Donald Duck in that.
Oh, Ghost Quackers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
don't see it, but I don't know if this is...
Donald Duck did go Quackers in this season too.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that this season had the bit about him getting a good voice. Like whenever Gyro gives him that voice changer and he starts talking normal, and then the maid is just like, have you always been this articulate? He's just like, it's my boat, it's my home, I drive. And she's like, okay, like holy cow. I very much love that joke. And then at the end he like speaks down, he's back to normal, and they're all like, oh okay, yeah, it's all good then.
Yeah, because I was gonna say he's been the voice actor for I think a long time. I think like 1980s. He's been around for a long time. Because I know it was Tony, and then before him was Clarence Nash, and I think Clarence Nash was the original. But also Tony also voiced Huey, Dewey, and Louie in like some of the movies and TV shows. So yeah, he's been in a whole bunch of them. He was also in like those Mickey Mouse skits that I love, like The Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse.
Oh, like the newer ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are really good. Yeah. Oh, he was the original Donald Duck in the original Ducktales too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been around since the 80s, like doing that voice. He won an Oscar, Emmy, something like that. I think it was an Emmy though for TV.
I mean that makes sense. That makes sense. Huh. Yep. I was looking to see if he was the voice in the Donald Duck game, but I couldn't find it, or I accidentally skipped it. Oh well, it's all good. I would understand if he wasn't the voice actor for that. But okay, Austin. Well, I appreciate you joining me on this episode of Bros and Shows. I had a fun time, and I can't wait for next week. I want to hear your like thoughts and opinions on next week, because I do think you're going to have a little more to say next show.
Oh so yeah,
it will be fun to see. So Austin, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you all so much for stopping by, and thank you all so much for tuning in.